Well, thanks for coming to Interact Seattle. My name is Eric Smith, and we are excited to meet every month to discuss the designer-developer relationship, conversation, and user experience, and all these things that have been emerging over the last decade and are sort of gelling and forming, and are getting translated into multiple disciplines. And so our hope is to facilitate conversations between camps, whether you call yourself a designer or a developer or someone looking in, or and also to help explain information and technology so we're better informed as we go back. I mean, we don't want to meet just to talk and be yappers, but to hopefully equip and arm everybody here with more information to take back to your personal endeavors, your work endeavors, and maybe just to arm you with better questions to ask. How you can go back and know, maybe to throw in a couple of terms and phrases and things that help engage and get projects on the right track. So that's what we're about. We try to be technology agnostic. We're not, we're obviously very close to a large influencer in the world of technology, and but we try to stay agnostic around that. And we have lemonade to not. It's Kool-Aid. It's Kool-Aid. And the idea is that if you have drunk the Kool-Aid and are pontificating too much on one particular technology, we'd like to remind you that we try to stay neutral, and we'll serve you up a cup of the juice. In a nice way. Just a gentle reminder, since we're so heavily influenced.
So if you're drinking too much Microsoft Kool-Aid or too much Apple Kool-Aid or whoever's Kool-Aid you're drinking,
we want to encourage participation. We're not here just to talk at you. I mean, we're just regular folk. We're all here. Let's gather. Let's talk. Let's share. Get your questions answered. There's no question that's too simple, or if it's coming up for you, it's probably coming up for somebody else. Please, please engage. We'd rather move this from a one-way conversation to a two-way conversation. So feel free to raise your hand at any time, jump in, ask questions, interrupt. We call it Interrupt Seattle.
Yeah. Well, I'll get on that.
Okay. All right. So anyway, tonight, our own David Kelly, who was a presenter at PDC last month, has graciously offered to share his talk again with us tonight. You are a UX, what's your title? What was the title?
Principal User Experience Architect.
Principal User Experience Architect at a company called, an agency called Wirestone. Yeah. And what kind of projects we can't talk about the projects we're working on. So anyway, right?
Well, that's up for debate.
Okay. Well, I'll stop yapping. David Kelly.
Well, thank you, Eric. For those of you who don't know me, I guess I should stand. My name is David Kelly, and I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint. So I made like 5 slides, right? We have this PM, Tori. I love her. But she did this PowerPoint a few weeks ago and had like 45 bullet points and 55 slides. So today's slide deck, I'm going to send to her, and this is how you do the PowerPoint. I want all the PowerPoint to do is to look like this from now on. But so here's who we are. So if this is not what you're looking for, might be in the wrong spot. So today's topic on better design, UX and why it matters. So I did this at PDC, and one of the differences between this typical sort of thing where we have a PowerPoint slide deck kind of like this, and you get up there and you pontificate for an hour, is that this discussion is designed to be just that, a discussion. So I'm not going to be up here pontificating all the time. I'm going to want you guys to interact. And if we have to seed that or whatever I need to do to make that work, that's what we'll do. At PDC, it was a lot of fun. It was packed. There were like 200 people here, and there were like 3 people that had decided that you should not include users in user experience design. And it was the most unbelievable thing. I mean, these people are passionate. They're getting up and they're going, you can't, And I'm like, anyone else have something to, I mean, it's so hopefully this demographic with less of the developers won't have that sort of confusion going on. But feel free to disagree with me. That's okay. But I think users are important. So, yes.
Would it be beneficial? It would be beneficial to me to get a representation of who in here is from which camp.
Great idea.
Could you do that?
That's a great idea.
So why don't all the developers raise their hand? And all the designers, I guess, are left, right?
Yep.
Or
Just the other category.
or the other category, observance. Okay.
Well, I think there's a number of categories of those that care about user experience, and that's part of what this group is about. Is we're trying not to be developers or designers, but developers and designers and information architects and anyone else who cares about user experience. That's what this organization is about. It's about helping us work together to build better user experiences. And part of what I did at PDC was try to take the Interact message to the Microsoft developer community. And they put me in a room out in Timbuktu, the hardest room possible at PDC to find, and it managed to be a packed house. So I know there's a lot of passion, and a lot of people are concerned about it because, heck, even on my third try to this room, I got lost, and people still manage to have a packed room. So I know it's important to people.
Of the people who are maybe the other, what's other?
I work as a programmer editor, most recently with Windows Mobile. I'm interested in making it faster for developers who use MSDN to find what they're looking for.
Other than showing where Google is?
You need to be simply Kool-Aid.
Oh, drink some Kool-Aid.
And I'm a longtime former developer, 20-year marketer, and I am completely convinced that what brings people back to software and services that really add value is phenomenal user experience. So I've actually got a pet project right now that I'm kind of toying around with, and David and I haven't seen each other in 5 or 10 years, and I just kind of saw this and said, dang, gotta be there.
I think it's 5 or 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe 7.
Who else was other? Saw your hand.
This is development.
This is development?
Model. Just to make sure that everything out there is received very well.
Okay. So of the designers, who in here is a designer versus an interactive designer? You guys make
Print
not-
versus
I'm print.
well, print.
Cindy's print.
Do interactive design
Main project interactive,
sorry.
What was that?
What I've been working on lately is interactive.
Interactive design. Okay, great. So on better design, UX and Y matters. That's what the topic is tonight. And so this is who I am. Put all the mumbo jumbo there.
It's a disclaimer, right?
What's that?
Disclaimer?
No, those are all the different titles and things I've done. Lauren, Gibson, well, it just. So this is some of the stuff I've done. This is kind of a crappy picture, but just so you guys have context of where I'm coming from. Did this with Silverlight 1 launch 3 years ago. It was done with Silverlight 1 before Silverlight 1 was ready or launched. And so yeah, there's one of the things I've done. This was for the Bill Gates keynote last year, his last keynote as a Microsoft employee. And for the next slide, can we turn that camera so it's face down for a second? Someone want to do that for me?
This one?
So here is where we get to the interactive part. Best and worst UX stories. So my story, and I had a friend of mine, that there was 10 of us that worked on this. There's a guy out of LA, Victor Gaudioso, is an author, does a couple of expression blend books. There were 10 of us locked in a room for 10 days, and with no design specs, using prototype software, getting ready for the Silverlight 1 launch, and we had like 10 days. And so by the time we got that site that I showed you guys earlier done, you know, there were people like laying out on the table and haven't showered in a week, and it was just a nightmare to go through, kind of that experience. And then they had a nervous MTV crew. When we're getting ready for launch, everyone's like dying, and then knocking at the front door, and here's the cameras, and oh yeah, let's check it out. We're all like, what? You've got to be kidding. So the experience might have been worse, but what's cool about that story, if we would have done that in some of the other technologies, it probably would have taken us months to build what we were able to do in 10 days. Not saying that we didn't have some, you know, we were 10 of the best WPF designers and developers in the world at the time. And so you know, that might have skewed our success story a little bit there. But the fact remains is we, in 10 days with no specs, we were able to accomplish the impossible. And so that's kind of my best or worst story. What I learned from that is, and probably what started me down this whole UX path, is that through that designer-developer interaction, when you get it right, you guys can do amazing things. So like in this case, even though it was just incredibly difficult, we were a team. It wasn't the design team. It wasn't the developer team throwing stuff over the fence. We were in the same room working on this stuff at the same time and making it work. And we were able to just do amazing stuff. So that's my user experience story. My favorite is the one. And what I'd like to do is get a few others that have worked on some interesting stories and have us, and tell us about it. Anyone want to volunteer for that? Anyone? Now, granted, at PDC I had like 8 plants, so I cheated a little bit, and none of those guys are here right now. But you guys got to help me here.
So one of my classes was communication company. When I was migrating them from ASP.NET to Silverlight, and they have about 50 or 60 screens in the front of the company.
Right.
I imported them to, so while I was working Silverlight 2, this is what I migrated the whole thing in about 3 months. And actually, how many that I had built was about 2 years in work. So that was my last. They loved it.
So what can we learn from that story?
I think the Silverlight 3.0 blend sketchflow is made it very easy. The developers were like not super experienced; they were learning this whole thing as they were going. So I think this architecture, Silverlight and how it's laid out, and the whole thing, and all the back end from back to front, they're really easy for the teams to work out and convince the customer at the same time.
Yeah, this is kind of a similar experience of what we've come across. We found that once you get past that learning curve, because there's kind of a learning curve, not just for designers or the developers, but for both of those team people to be able to work together inside those environments. It's not just like magically poof, it makes everything better. But once that learning curve is achieved, we've noticed the same kind of benefits. We're able to now just do stuff.